All right, we are ready to go. It's your boy Charles Arnaz World. We are going to check out Chronicles of the Juice Man, a memoir about Juicy J. You know, Juicy J is from the infamous Southern hip hop legendary group 3 6 Mafia. He has a memoir. Let's go ahead and check it out. Now, in this particular chapter, he talks about the Shannon Street Massacre. So let's go ahead and check it out, guys. I'm going to come back to my reaction. Hit that thumbs up button.
Memphis is an evil place. Throughout my childhood, it was overrun with crime and mayhem. People walked around like zombies high on drugs. I felt like Memphis actually was hell. A few months before my 10th birthday, I heard about the Shannon Street murders. On January 11th, 1983, white police officers Ray Schwill and Bobby Hester were dispatched to a residence on Shannon Street in North Memphis to investigate an alleged purse snatching. They arrived at the residence of Lindbergh Sanders, a black man with mental illness who thought he had been resurrected after being killed by the police. Sanders hated the cops, referred to himself as Black Jesus, and had 13 of his followers at his house. They were waiting for the moon to touch the earth in Memphis. Everyone who wasn't a true believer in what Sanders was preaching would perish. Sanders and his devotees were smoking weed, drinking wine, and fasting while they waited for the moon event to cleanse the world. When the officers arrived, 7 members of Sanders' cult left when the cops showed up. After an initial conversation, Schwill and Hester were lured into Sanders' house and ambushed. Schwill called for backup, was shot in the face, and played dead, while Hester was taken hostage and moved into a bedroom. When additional officers arrived on the scene, they were met with gunfire. Once police made contact with Sanders, he stated his desire to kill Hester live on a Memphis radio station. Hester was heard begging for his life as the police negotiated with Sanders. After police haggled with Sanders for about 30 hours, a SWAT team raided the house. The cultists and police exchanged fire, killing Sanders and his remaining 6 followers. Police also discovered the body of Hester, who had been stabbed, beaten, and tortured for hours before dying from his injuries. Schwill lived, despite being shot in the face. In the aftermath of the massacre, reports surfaced that 6 of the 7 members of Sanders' cult were shot in the head execution style, leading many activists to claim that their deaths were unjustified. Either way, after this incident, the Memphis police changed their policy. They would raid a location immediately if a hostage was injured. The force also enacted de-escalation training and had policies focusing on how to deal with mentally ill suspects. The Shannon Street murders rocked Memphis, further driving a wedge between the city's black and white residents. Watching the events unfold on television, I was barely able to comprehend what I was seeing taking place about a...
Give me that thumbs up button, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Has anybody ever? I've never heard about this. This is my first time hearing about this. This is interesting. Let's continue on.
mile away from my family's residence in North Memphis. It was a nightmare incident that felt like it made things worse in my city. Crime seemed to be everywhere, and the police were regularly beating up people, especially black men. My family wasn't immune to hardship either. We got kicked out of our apartment, and I went to stay with my maternal grandmother, Dee Etta Brady, for a bit. While I was there, my Aunt Joyce would sometimes stop by. My aunt had a crazy-ass boyfriend. They'd get into fights all the time. One day, I saw my grandmother using a knife to pry bullets out of the outside walls of the house. I asked her what she was doing. She told me Joyce's boyfriend had shot up the house. Bullets flying was a regular occurrence at my grandmother's house. My mom would yell, "Get on the floor!" or "Get down!" when my aunt's boyfriend was on one of his rampages. As soon as my mom would say it, I'd hear a volley of gunshots. It wasn't just him, though. There were a lot.
Wait a minute, man. I'm sorry. It made it seem like it was just so normal. Just he's shooting the house up again. Everybody get on the ground. That's crazy.
Of shootouts between other people in my neighborhood, but the police didn't seem to care much. During the mid-1980s, people were messed up on crack, too. Drugs and bullets are one thing. Words are another. My mother, Shirley Jean Brady, told me that her father, Walter Brady Sr., never told her that he loved her. That's bad, especially for a girl. If you never tell your son you love him, he might not give a damn. Little girls, though, want to be loved by their daddy and feel protected. My mom didn't feel either of those things. She had 5 siblings: Walter, Larry, Joyce, Deborah, and Ray. The wild thing was that my grandfather had an entirely different family with another woman. They also had several kids, and they were also named Walter, Shirley, Larry, Joyce, Deborah, and Ray. I was told that my grandfather did that so he wouldn't forget their names. It's some creepy, crazy shit, but that's the environment in which my mother was raised. When my mother was growing up, her father took her to events at Voodoo Village, a neighborhood in southwest Memphis developed by Wash Doc Harris in the 1960s. Known locally as a spiritual doctor, he wanted the area to be a center for spiritual healing. When I was growing up, Voodoo Village had a bunch of houses that were strangely shaped and painted with unusual colors, like red and blue. Some people even put dolls, crosses, stars, and other objects Harris made in their yards. Even though he called them symbols of God, Harris' creations symbolized his cult in the eyes and minds of a lot of people in Memphis. Either way, it's a scary place. My mom...
Anyway, y'all, that's just a little snippet from Juicy J's book, Chronicles of the Juice Man, a memoir of Juicy J. Y'all can check it out on Audible. If y'all want to, y'all get a chance. This is crazy, man. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that they had some type of thing that happened called the Shannon Street Massacre in Memphis. Wow, it's crazy. That's been kind of like, they always dig up old crimes. I noticed that a lot of old crimes that involve police, like, a lot of crimes that, because they always bring up different crimes, that have happened in America on like different documentaries and stuff like that. You hear about the Manson family, stuff like that. But you never hear about crimes, like crimes involving the police doing something like kind of shady. They always sweep those crimes under the rug, and you kind of got to dig to find out about these particular crimes that happened in the past. I would never have known that had happened had not Juicy J talked about it in his book. I've never, what I'm saying, because they said the guys, the cops rushed in and they saw they had all, everybody was killed execution style. So they made it seem like it was a shootout, but really they just went in there and maybe they might have surrendered when the cops ran in there. But they like, nah, y'all done killed one of ours. We gonna take y'all. You see what I'm saying? They probably had already, because they knew, they shot the one in the face and they had the other one that passed away in the other room. So they probably just went ahead and just did them in, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all, pretty crazy stories. Juicy J's book. Wow. You know, I want to listen to more of it. What y'all think about what y'all just heard? Leave your comments and subscribe to Charles and Ned's World. Appreciate it.
Looking for a professional photographer for your next big event? Need video of your special day? Then look no further. For $100 an hour, have a professional photographer or videographer shoot your wedding, birthday party, quinceañera, bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, anniversary party, or whatever your special occasion may be. Highlight your event with professional, crisp photos and video. Check out Charles Arness Photography on Instagram, as well as book us for your next event. Must live in the Southern California area.